Hello, everyone. I'm so excited. We're just gonna get into it. And I always get the name wrong. And I've told this to Lhey. We have the amazing Lhey Ralston with us. She is Mommy Lhey, right? I always call you Mama Lhey.
I think it's the same context anyway. I don't think it's wrong. It's okay.
Abbreviate. So but it's Mommy Lhey is the correct AKA. So if you've seen Mommy Lhey out and about, this is one and the same. This is Lhey Ralston, and she's doing an amazing class with us. So we're here today to have a chat with her and talk about this phenomenal. This class is mind-blowing. Like I've seen it. Mind-blowing. It's fabulous. So we're very excited. Welcome, Lhey, to join us today.
Bridget, thank you. Hello, everybody.
And welcome. So if you have questions, please pop them into the chat. I've posted the link in there so you can go over and check out the class. And so there's so many exciting things about this.
Oh gosh, yes.
There are kind of three really exciting things in the kit. Do you want to tell us a little bit about those?
It's actually so amazing. You know, I think we talked about this the last time we kind of like chatted for one of the retreat that we created. We had, and I created a few products in there too. But in this class, we have 3 new different products that we're sharing that I've created. It's actually so different from the norm of Altenew, which you and I were just kind of like chatting about it, right? So it still has our florals. We have the beautiful florals, but we're going to have 2 stamp set. So we have a brush lettered, so you can create your own sentiments, you kind of create, and then we have some ladybugs, some kawaii ladybugs in here that is so adorable. It's so crazy. And then we have some stencils. So those are the 3 new products that we're going to have in this kit. And that's just not it. I mean, all the tools that we're going to need, of course, the dual tip pens is here. That is one of the brush lettered. So you can create your own sentiments now while you're still practicing. But sometimes I write really heavy, so I create like big letters, so it's almost impossible for me to create like sentiments inside the card just because I write so big. And I think this stamp set is so perfect for that. And then the second stamp set, I think Bridget has it too. We have the ladybug. Look at this one. It is so cute because you have the cuteness, you have the charm, that whimsical, and then you have the florals in here, and then that beautiful sentiment, the brush lettered sentiment, also sending and wishing. And then you have little mini sentiments in there that can go along and use for your card or any crafty projects, really. But the best part about these products, yes, right? The wreath is one of my favorite. I think one of the best thing in this class is that we're going to use, I know we're all card makers in here, and but I think the best part about this class is that all these items that we're seeing right now is we're going to use it in many different ways that you probably, maybe some of you know it already, but some of you are like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that, so it's going to be so exciting. I'm just so excited for the products, as excited as I am for the class.
And there's a 2-piece stencil, which it's in there. Yes. I just couldn't grab it real quick.
I also have it in one bag.
Okay. And this is from the March Mindfulness. This just became available for purchase, which is so cute.
Oh, yes, that's available now in the shop.
It is available in the store now. And I literally reached over and grabbed it because it doesn't leave me. It stays. I love the sentiments. I love the font. I love it all. And, this is where we get the cutesy kind of like, there's mushrooms and bees on here. And then
I
this
have my
one,
ultimate bag.
yes,
I
you
love
gotta
it.
have, those are my favorites.
You gotta
Those,
have it because it's just so much easier to kind of like when I'm working on a project, everything that I use in that project, I have it in one of these bags because it just makes it so easy. Instead of me kind of like browsing through all the products, it's nice. Okay, this is the project I'm working on. I'll just put everything in here. So everything that I've used. Okay, so this is our Daydream Doodles.
and it's two pieces.
Yeah, there's two in here. So we have kind of like some paint blobs. We have some paint strokes. It's almost used kind of like for mixed media, creating your own background. So this is really fun. And then we have a border set as well. So we have like mini stars, and then we have mini X's, and then kind of like irregular dots in the other one. So that's called the Daydream Doodles. So
So those
that's
are
super fun.
the 3 products that Lhey made specifically for this class. And I have
Yes,
to say, on this stamp set, I was so super stoked because you put so many versions of the letter. So there's a capital and
yes.
there's like 2 lowercase at least. Sometimes there's more. So
Because the
and then
way it worked, Mariam helped a lot
yes,
with this
yes,
product development, so we kind of like went through many different variation and changes for this one
yeah.
because, in brush lettering, you have to connect the letters. So sometimes you have to choose which one is better for the, it just depends on the word that you're creating, I think. So it just depends. There's many different crossbars as well, many different descenders. And I know maybe I'm talking kind of like scientific words, but if you take the class, you're going to understand what I'm
Yes.
saying. Yes. So there's like many different variations of that one. So Mariam really did such a fantastic way of like kind of like assisting me with kind of like putting everything together. So I'm so excited for this damn set.
And on top of that, Lhey built these kits. Like she said, I think I need this in here. I need this in here. So for the deluxe kit, let me just give you a rundown. You get the cold pressed watercolor paper pad, which you might be like, what's going on there? You're going to use that in a lot of ways, including some mixed media. Very exciting. And
Mm-hmm.
so you get the elegant alphabet, the ladybug charm, and the daydream doodles. That's in both kits. All 3 of those things, both kits. The deluxe
Yes.
kit, you get the watercolor paper pad, mini blending brushes, the Islands of Fiji dual tip pens, and you get 3
Mm-hmm.
sprays: black, white, and antique gold.
Antique
The
gold,
ultra
yes.
the ultra sticky mat and the must-have gel pen set. So that is loaded. If you don't have like a lot of like also new like accessories, kind of like the sprays and stuff, or you haven't gotten the 9x12 mat, good chance and good reason to get it. And
I
then the regular,
love it. Let's
yeah, I mean,
yes.
I have a backup because I'm like, what if I get color on it and I can't get it off? I need a backup.
Oh,
So
I have colors. I'm like, but you know what? It still works the same. I love it.
it
I
shows that
absolutely
you
love it.
loved it. I have a pink one. My little one is pink. It just, but
I
I've given
never
it
thought
love.
that I needed so much. You're kind of like one of those things that I don't really need it until you use it. You're like,
Until you
oh
do.
my gosh, what was I thinking? Where are you for the rest of my life? It's like now I can't live without it. It's like, hello, because I used to always tape all the time, right? So we use a
Yep.
satin tape, and I tape everything, and I'm like, now you just stick it there, and I'm like, oh my god, it holds us in
It
place.
stays.
Amazing. So if you don't have it, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. I promise you.
And then the regular kit. So say you already have the 9x12 sticky mat and all the sprays and stuff. You get the 3 Lhey designed products, the 2 stamp sets and the stencil. You get the 9x12 watercolor paper pad because you're really going to use that in this class. You're going to use a lot of that. And then the Islands of Fiji dual tip pens, those are going to be they're going to be your BFF in this class. And then the jet black ink spray, because everybody needs a little jet black ink spray, I
Yes,
think.
yes,
Even if
yes,
you
yes,
have one, you have a backup. It's good. It's all good.
absolutely. And we used it so much. We used it a lot in this class. I can't say anything specific, but we did really use a lot of that products because I really wanted to make sure that you get your money's worth. So we kind of like wanted to make sure that hey, this is a product included because this is what we're actually going to be using in the class. So
now, how did you? So, if folks are out there and they're like, I don't know much about brush lettering, I don't know if this is for me. How did you get into brush lettering?
wow, you know what? That was my first step into the art of into the world of art, really, because I was not an artist. I did not know how to draw. I didn't know how to create these beautiful letters. So I was not blessed with that, you know. And 10, 11 years ago, I think more than that now. Rain is 14, so probably 12 years now. Oh my goodness. That's why all my grades are showing. 12 years ago, I'm like, after quitting, not quitting, kind of like semi-retired from singing, because I was an artist, a performer. So I was singing and all that. So after I semi-retired, I'm like, I need an outlet. I need to do something because we're all artists in here, you know, we're all creatives. So we need an outlet. So I'm like, what do I do? And it was all over social media back then. Imagine this, 12 years ago, you know, it was already on social media everywhere, Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. And I'm like, I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, so beautiful. And it felt so calming. Watching these videos was so calming that I wanted to get into that zone. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy a brush pen. What is that brush pen? You know, I researched it. I'm like, this is it, I'm gonna do it. That did not happen. Basically, it did not look like what I saw on the internet. So that was my first step into art because I was like, okay, wow, this is fun, you know. So I'm like, but it really took a lot of patience, and I think a lot of that lesson you're going to hear in the class because one of those things that I really wanted everyone to understand is that no matter what it is in life, you know, crafting, scrapbooking, journaling, card making, it really does require a lot of trial and error, a lot of that kind of like, ooh, that did not work. Because as simple as color palette, even, you know, you learn the basics of brush lettering and then you got to learn how to blend. You got to learn how to use all these markers and put it together in a project, use it in the project. So that's when I fell in love with brush lettering because I thought it was just kind of like, I'm just going to write pretty letters. But then it really did change my life because it opened so many avenues for me. Then I started my small business, you know, and that's my hope for everyone that's going to take this class too, is they find that inspiration that, wow, if Lhey did it, I could do it too. And, you know, and I am your cheerleader all throughout this class. I'm right there, kind of like holding your hand, guiding you through it all. This is going to be so detailed. And my hopes is that you'll fall in love with brush lettering as hard as I did. And I hope that it would change your life too in a very good way.
And that's, I mean, that's the great thing is I've seen the videos. So that's the great thing is a couple of things that I want to tell you about this class is that it feels like Lhey is in your space with you. And you can just feel Lhey's positive vibes coming through during this class,
Oh,
like cheering you on. And it's just fabulous. And then the other thing is I was just commenting, we'll let a cat out of the bag. She shows you literally up close, like with the camera, up close, how you could hold your pen for you. And I love this class is so detailed. So whether you're a beginner, do not be scared. Lhey has got
yes,
you. Like an advanced, there's
100%.
so many techniques in here that I think you could practice, or maybe you don't know some of them because I consider myself advanced and sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, how have I never heard of this? So there's something for everybody in this class. And it just, I was so impressed with, it felt like you were with me. Like when I
Thank
was
you.
watching
That
the
means a
videos.
lot to me. That means a lot to me. Because, you know, when we did our March retreat, it was so, I felt so rushed. You know, I wanted to share so much and we just didn't have the time to kind of like put it all in there. So, you know, when I had the opportunity, when you asked me, can we redo this and can we be more kind of like detailed with everything? And I'm like, this is my chance to really create something that everybody can easily understand and relate to, and they're going to get it. It's just going to click in their head, and this is something that they can go over and watch and watch and watch again, you know, in your under your class. So if you felt like, oh wow, that's a little overwhelming, that was a little bit too much for me, I'm going to pause a little bit and rewatch that again. Or if you forget something, that you can always rewatch it again.
And that's the great thing. You have this forever. You have this
Yes,
is yours.
that's it.
It doesn't go away. It's there forever. And the great thing is too is I love the extras. So you've given like practice sheets as well.
Yes.
So they get a beautiful
Yeah.
color PDF, but you also get practice sheets. So I
So
mean
they
there's
get
just
very detailed worksheet of each alphabet, so they will have that. And then also in that practice sheet, in the worksheet, they'll have a reminder about all the basic but so important basic strokes, right? These are so essential. And so kind of like practice is everything. So if they really utilize the class and the worksheet itself, it's really gonna like super speedy their progress.
And I love you say that in the intro video. You're like, don't make all my mistakes. I've made them for you, kind
Oh
of,
gosh, yes.
So I'm going to teach you what not to do, basically what I did.
Everything. It will save them. I kid you not, it will save you like years of kind of like making the same mistake over and over again, because I'm kind of like, I'm really there and like, kind of like whispering in your head, no, don't do that, So it's kind of like almost like that. I've had students before that said, Lay, every time I do my thin and thick strokes, I feel like you're just right there beside me, kind of like thin up, heavy going down. So that was really funny to me when she said that. I was like, oh wow, now I can't get it out of my head. I'm like, thin up, heavy going down. So it almost feels like that. So that's funny. But yes, even if you're a beginner or you're already kind of like, advanced into the crafting, this class, like what Bridget said, is for everybody. We're doing so much in this class beyond just lettering. Let me just repeat that. Beyond just lettering, we're going to create so many projects that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect this in this class, but there's beyond brush lettering. So let's just put it that way.
And I mean, there's a live session with it, which is so much fun.
Yes.
And there's a Facebook group with it. So let's say you're on day 3 and you just can't get the hang of one letter, and you're trying to blend your colors and you're like, Lay, I'm doing what you said, but it's just not working for me.
I'm there. Yes.
Yeah, she's there. She can answer those questions and say, oh, try this, or, oh, I see what's happening. You're blending a little too much of this color or that color, or she's there to answer all those questions. So you have access to somebody that's an expert in brush lettering, as well as, like Lay said, there's so much more in this. It's not just brush lettering. You do get the fundamentals. Like, let's not glaze over that.
That's exactly.
And I don't even think you'd have to pause these videos because they're a few of them are over an hour long, which is fabulous because you're learning so much. But it's a good pace. It's not like, when watching it, I didn't feel like you would have to pause it. I felt like there was enough time that you could do it right along with, and it would be perfectly timed. So it's I found it just like March Mindfulness. I found it very meditative. Like, this class was just so soothing. It just was soothing to really watch the brush lettering.
I think that's really what brush lettering will do to you. Every time you would practice, kind of like while watching the video, and then even after watching the video, we kind of have like little homeworks in there that you can do and you can practice at home after watching the video. Is like, you're going to understand what I'm feeling when every time that, I hold the brush pen and start writing, even though we're practicing the basic strokes, or you're practicing the alphabet, or you're already connecting your letters. And so these things is what we're going to learn. We start from the basic. We start from the basic strokes, and I'll teach you all the basic strokes and how those strokes would compose your letters. And then how we are going to connect the letters, because that was my first struggle in the beginning. I would get worksheets and I would get like alphabets, right? And I would just practice. And once I started writing the word, I'm like, it doesn't look great. And so all of these, we're really going to tackle them. I think from day 1 to day 3, maybe to 4, is really all the basics. And so we're going to advance. It's kind of like a ladder. We're doing it one step at a time. So we start from the basic, because my goal was to not overwhelm you with all the information. So first day, we're really kind of like introducing everything, kind of like a brief history. I'm really there chatting with you. So you'll see all of that. And then we will progress, all of us together, from the basic to creating. Now we're going to put the letters, and then now we're going to create words. And then now, how are we going to compose a quote? Now that we understand the letters itself and the putting together, how are we going to do all the composition? So I give all my tips and all my tricks under my belt. I'll share it with all of you.
They're not the belt
anymore.
Yes. All the secrets are coming out.
Exactly.
And there's a lot in this class too, because the timing is November 10th through 17th. So there's a lot in this class that you could use for gifts for a holiday season as well. There's a
Yes.
lot that could turn into home decor. I was just thinking of that. Or the final day we were talking about. I mean, that could be a wonderful gift for your
It
siblings or your
would,
parents,
yes,
or
absolutely.
so many opportunities for if you have a lot of birthdays coming around November, or the holiday, if you celebrate the holidays, lots of opportunities to get some stuff made, some handmade, loved
Absolutely.
gifts to give to your loved ones.
And I,
Lots.
I had that in my head too, because I really wanted, whether you're celebrating or not, there's always something to celebrate, the holidays. But even if it's not a holiday themed, once you understand the things that you can do with your brush lettering, it's really just going to kind of like give you more inspiration. Oh, I can use this in a card making, or I can, use this in my scrapbooking or
Yes.
in journaling, or like what Bridget said, like a DIY sort of stuff in that, or we might or may not do.
Don't know.
I don't know.
I
But
always say,
maybe.
I don't know. And people are like, but you do. And I'm like, well, I do, but I can't say anything. So I don't know.
But yeah, I have to take the class. So
Yes. Yep. You have to
yes.
find
And
out.
then like what Bridget, what you were saying is about their Facebook group. I think that's going to be really, really amazing, because I really appreciate that when we did the March retreat, and everyone was just kind of sharing their progress, and everyone was sharing, a little hiccup here and there, or a parts where they struggle a little bit, and everyone was just ready to jump in. And so inspiring. Everyone was just kind of like all together and say, "Oh, wow, that's so pretty," kind of like inspiring one another. It's finding a community like that, bonus, big bonus, really.
And
Super.
that's one of the great things I think about the Facebook group is I know some folks aren't on Facebook, and that's okay. That's not a problem,
Yes.
but it is there as a resource where
Yes.
other participants share their projects. You can ask questions. You can just have camaraderie and get excited. We try to get you excited for the class
Absolutely.
coming up.
Yes.
It's just fun. It's just a fun
It's
place to
fun.
go
That's it.
and share.
Yes. For sure.
And so
For sure.
if if you haven't tried brush lettering, this is definitely a great opportunity to do it, because again, you get walked through very beautifully. It's very soothing, and if you need a break too, this is a very soothing class
Yes.
as it is.
Sometimes
Sorry.
we kind of like all your card making. We're like, I'm done. I'm just going to practice my brush lettering today. You can do
Well,
that too.
and I love that you mentioned, you can do this in your journal, in your junk journal, on your scrapbook pages, on your cards, on home decor. So this isn't limited to, oh, I'm going to learn how to make a card. This is not limited to that at all. And I know you've shown before that, you have like journals, you practice your brush letter for
Yes.
you each day. You kind of connect in your journal, and you kind of just practice your brush lettering or whatever you're feeling for that
I did.
day.
And I spoke about that, the importance of, how passionate I am when it comes to journaling, because it is a safe space. It's my safe place where I can really just kind of like lay down my thoughts. It's a place where it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think that's what brush lettering and then mixed media and then, um, comes in, because I think in my journal it's almost like it's not a junk journal where you slap so many things, but it's mainly about just kind of like really writing. And there's something about it that's so soothing, like what you said, that really does put me in a meditative state. You're just really there. You're so in the moment, So, and it's important for positivity, finding affirmation words that just really you can put in your planner, and then you go through it, you walk through it, and you're like, wow, I did this, and and you look at it almost like it just depends on your emotions, what you're feeling that day, and you're going to see that in some of my journals. Is that some are like grungy, some are like dark colors, and you have no idea that color palette really plays into what you're feeling that day. It's so cool to think that, because at first I was just creating, and little did I know that I was really creating just based on how I'm feeling that day. And you're really going to
Yeah.
see it's like my journal reflects that. It's just like, oh wow, what was I going through that moment? You really
And
see it in there.
how cool is it to look back and see not only can you Sorry, Emery wants to say hello to the All-Stu crowd. She's very persistent.
Hello.
She's like, hello. She loves her Altenew family very much.
Yes.
So, but it's great because you can see your progression, not only of your brush lettering, but like you said, maybe you go through like the blue phase. Like we've had many
Yes.
famous
Yes.
painters
You're
go
gonna
through,
see it in
the
there.
blue phase. And
Absolutely.
whatever it is, but you can kind of look back and see your progression through colors, through your brush lettering, through whatever else
Yes.
you're adding into that. And I think as well, you mentioned, it's just a healthy, safe space. Nobody else ever needs to see it. Um, and I think that's a couple things that are great about that is the first thing is it doesn't even have to be words. It can just be
No.
like you could stamp your ladybugs, you could stamp anything in there and just create a scene if you wanted to stamp a flower, whatever it is, but it's
Exactly.
yours
And
and it's that
yes.
day.
And that's why we talked about, how I said this class is really beyond just lettering, because
Yeah.
like what I said from day 1 to 3 or 4 maybe is like really breaking down into details all of the brush lettering. But after that, the projects that we're going to create in the upcoming days are really something where I think we really can all benefit from this one and really enjoy, because it's something that we are going to be playing with colors, with
Yeah.
tools, with our stamps, our stencils. There's going to be some ink blending. There's going to be learning how to blend the. It's mixed media, so basically, really using all the media and tools that you may already have in your stash. So there's a lot of playing, a lot of freedom in this class, and I think that's it.
And there will be some ink colors. This will all be in the PDF, the supply list, all that. You'll get all that. But the colors are very rainbow. So you kind of just, if you have a rainbow assortment of colors, you're good to go. There's not a lot of extra
Yes,
colors that you
but
need to
I don't
have.
know if you've seen in one of our kind of like class in there. It's almost like it was surprising to me too how the colors blended and really look more like a fall palette as well. So it's like really blending all those colors really helped, kind of like, oh wow, so like what I said, there's a lot of freedom in the class, and I was going through that with you. So when you take the class and you watch it, it's almost like I'm there right beside you. We're kind of like just crafting and creating and learning together, and there's a lot of freedom of kind of like, ooh, that did not work. What do you think? What should we do? There was a lot of that. Like, I'm really having a conversation with you because I was going through the same thing. I was playing and you're just playing along with me, and we're both learning at the same time.
Christine said she loves brush lettering. I took a calligraphy class when I was 12 years old, so 45 years ago, and I really loved it and was actually pretty good at it, but I haven't done it in years though. Perfect time to break
Wow, this is
out.
perfect refresh. Kind of like, ooh.
And with color, with lots of color. So I always think of calligraphy as like black pens, right? Like the old calligraphy.
Yeah,
Like
because
you
we
always
have
think
the
of that.
old calligraphy pens, right? The old nibs and all that. So that's going to be different with the brush lettering, but really the same principle also. It's just very different in it's more of a modern script of what we're going to create. Like the letters are not going to be overly with so much swash and loops and all that, because I think I spoke about this in the class also, why it was important to me to not do so many loops and things like that. Like what I said, the class is so detailed. Why there's like an explanation why we shouldn't try this first and why we should skip this first, and kind of like learn all the basic without just kind of like spilling out everything. But there's a lot of information in the class.
And it is. And it's something I think that's great because this PDF, I mean, even in the PDF, you show how to hold the pen. You show so much. There's so much information. Even if you just have the PDF and you're like, I have to go on a road trip and I want to take the PDF with me. There's so much information in there
Thank you.
that you can
Thank you.
have, that you can take with you. And I mean, the recorded videos are almost like a bonus because the PDF is so informative as well. So it's just, you have so many resources in this class, including Lhey herself. So that's the wonderful thing. So if you're wanted to try this or you tried it at March Mindfulness and you were like, oh, I think we got through like letter M. I think we made it to M. And we got there, but you guys were working it. You guys were doing amazing brush lettering.
Amazing. All the projects they share in the Facebook group. That was like so inspiring. Like seeing everyone's like, wow. You're kind of like a proud mom, like, oh, they're doing it. Really, that's what I felt like. Oh, wow, I'm so proud.
It is when you see what they, especially when they create with your stamp sets. I mean, that must feel
Yes.
amazing
Oh
to
gosh.
see all the
I
inspiration.
really cannot wait. I really can. I really can because this set is just so fabulous. I mean, and the way Altenew, of course, give you kind of like samples and how you can use it. I mean, it's just this company is just amazing.
And I mean, and you're amazing too. Yes, Altenew. We all love Altenew here. Yes, but you're amazing as well. But how cute too. You put your little toadstools with the little
I know it's so cute. That's what I wanted. I wanted to kind of like for them to be able to use it together also, so make their own whimsical scene or, use a kawaii word if you want, but very whimsical. And then at the same time, it's so lovely with all the florals included in there as well.
Yeah, it's like the perfect mash of Altenew
It
and
really
Mommy
is. It
Lhey
really is.
because it's got the cute little critters, it's got the beautiful flowers, it's got it all. It's got everything in there. It's got sentiments, and I love that you ended up doing the alphabet. So because,
Yes.
like you said, yours gets really
While you're
big.
still
So
practicing. Yes.
yeah, so you can just stamp it out. Like you can just stamp it out if you're still working on your brush lettering and you're like, I'm practicing, because in the
I'm
intro video as
trying.
well, Lhey says you
And you
need
know what you
patience,
can
and she
do
even does this. You
also?
need patience and you need practice. And I love
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Those are the keys.
And what they can do with the stamp as well, Bridget, is that they can use a very light gray, if they still want to add like the personal touch. So
Yep.
stamp it in a light gray and then go over that with a black pen, from the fine liner tip set. There's a brush tip in there that's very small also that you can use. And so, yeah, that's what you can do. I mean, make it even more personal. Yes, you stamped it. Yes, it's a stamp, but still you kind of like go over on top of that and then practicing your brush lettering and then making your card even more personal. So
Yeah. And these items, so the Bloom and Evolve did come out, but these items are exclusive to this class. Will they come out later?
yes.
I don't know. They may not ever see the light of day. They may just be reserved for this class. And sometimes we have released stamp sets, but it's usually like a year or two that it shows up. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely, and we don't know. It is exclusive to this class. You can't buy these stamp sets or the stencil set anywhere else. It's only in this class, which is really exciting,
Yes.
that you only get it. It's fun to be part of, like, I always call it a
Some
secret. Like, it's a little
exclusive club,
secret.
right?
Yes, it's a little stamp and stencil club that you're like, oh, I'm in it. I'm in it. I get to
I
play with
know,
these
I know.
products. And there's lots of options as well. With this, I mean, you can watercolor, you can use your dual tip pens, you can use gouache, you can use anything, we have acrylic markers, we have so many coloring mediums, pencils, the artist markers, the alcohol markers. So, so many options. And I love the size of these as well, because you're not losing anything when you're adding that color. And sometimes when they're
No,
small, it's
yeah,
hard to
exactly.
hide
They're
the
so
color.
tiny. Yes,
Yeah. So
that's so
they're a
true.
good size. And again, I mean, like Lhey said, the samples on
I
the
love
back are
it.
just
That's cut all my
so
images.
cute.
So
And
darn cute. Oh my God.
with the Stamp Wheel 2.0 coming out, you can make a ladybug wreath. I'm just saying, and you can make a big one. So
They're
they're just
cute.
so cute. And I think I just look at this set and smile. It's just one of those things. And I probably look ridiculous because I'm home alone, but I look at this and you can't look at this set and not smile. It's just so cute.
That's
You're
so
just like, oh,
cute.
it's just so cute and fun. I love that.
It's
That
so
is awesome.
adorable.
That is, I think the wreath is my favorite. And you can layer, like, there's a little flower you can layer on the
Yes,
wreath.
on top of that one, absolutely. Yes.
So fun. It's just so fun. And again, if you're still working on your lettering, but you want lettering, Lhey's taking care of that for you. She has two beautiful words in here that all done. You don't even have to stamp them together. She's taking care of it for you. You have her beautiful lettering.
You have now. Yeah, I'm like really gonna look at some of the cards. I'm like, did I make that? Oh no, that was part of the stamp. Because I'm like, when did I write that? Because it is my hand lettering.
I wrote it so small because you said you always write so big.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I write so
how do
big.
I write that
Wow,
so
I
small?
to write small. I'm doing good. I struggle with that. I struggle with that. And that's one part of the class is where I kind of like shared all my struggles because I think it's important for everyone to kind of like understand that, it didn't just happen overnight.
Yeah.
Nothing happens overnight anyway. So it's kind of like I shared through all my struggles and how I kind of like overcame that and, what I did to really change and what you can avoid, things that you can avoid. So you just kind of like your progress will be much, much, much faster than mine ever did because I was stubborn. And so I was like doing all the wrong things in the beginning. I'm like, why am I not improving in this one? Because I was not doing the right thing. So, now we're gonna get that taken care of so you don't have to do it.
And that's the thing too, is I think so many people see like a finished card and they're like, oh, they just threw that together.
Yes.
No, no. I mean, we were talking in I call it the green room, which is before we come live. Um, we were talking about how, our videos get edited so many times. Like we edit so much out of those videos.
Yes.
It's just, so that's the thing. How, like, if you sit down to do, let's say, I've seen you do affirmation cards. So let's say you're doing an affirmation card, like, how long does that take to do something like that?
It just depends on how much detail you want to add. Kind of like with card making, some people really like it minimal, so you just have one sentiment stamped in the card itself, in the card base itself, or you want to go stamp it in a separate cardstock, fuzzy cut it, or kind of like run through your machine. So it just depends on how much layers you want to put in. But if I'm just doing a basic affirmation card, probably a good 15 minutes. I think the thinking of what I'm going to put in there takes a lot more than the actual doing. And I sit in there, what am I going to put in here? So that's what takes my time. So you go through, browse through the Pinterest. I'm like, what quote am I going to use today? So just depending on how you feel about that. But really, the doing, it's so easy. And we're going to create so many amazing projects, like what I said, that you're going to like, oh, wow, what? That was it? You're like, that was easy. So at least that's my hope for you is, you find it kind of like, wow, surprisingly easy.
I think so. The way the videos are structured, I think it will be. And like I said, the pace is really good. It's a really good pace. I don't even think you guys would have to pause. Like Lhey goes at a really good pace for you, learning the strokes. She practices the strokes with you, showing
Yes.
you how it could go wrong, and then showing you how to do it right.
Yes.
And then lots of different ways, again, to hold pens. Some of them I was like, that looks really uncomfortable, but it might work for you. And that's
Yes.
great to know all your options. So Lhey gives you so many options in this class as well, which is just fabulous. And I have to ask, so there's some ink colors you used in class. Do you have a favorite? I have in my mind what your favorite is, but do you have a favorite fresh dye ink color?
Oh gosh, I think I have you're probably seen it in the video. That's my favorite combo. It has to be the Firefly, the Snapdragon, the
Yep.
Puffy Heart, and the mid yellow. So I really love the brights. I love brights, and that's why we have the Islands of Fiji also, right? Because you have those colors. So that's my favorite palette. If I have to choose, it's those fresh colors, like Puffy Heart, Snapdragon, Mid Yellow, and Firefly, because it's just so happy. You see it and you're just like automatically happy. And so I'm happy. Every time I see the color palette, I'm like, happy. I love these colors. I'm super happy with all these colors.
There's just, and the set you picked, the Islands of Fiji, it's so bright and beautiful. I mean, there's three other sets, you guys. So if you
Yes.
want to look, there's three other sets of dual tip pens, lots of colors. So if you fall in love with these or you have them and you're like, I need to figure out how to use these, this is a great opportunity on figuring out
This is a
how to
class for
use
you.
these.
Absolutely.
And you really do. So the focus is on brush lettering
Yes.
in crafting, but Lhey really shows you how to use these pens as well. Lots of ideas on how to use these
A
pens.
lot.
Yeah. So it's great if you're wanting to look at these pens more in depth as well. This is a class that I think you would really enjoy. And like I said, there's more colors. We can't put everything in the kit, but there are 3 more color sets if you're interested in those. I thought you were going to say mountain pine. I saw you reach.
You know
You
what?
had a
Yes, I
little
love
love.
mountain pine green too because I was using it to add kind of like drama because it
Yeah.
was much darker green, right? And I think I fell in love with the mountain pine. I was kind of like going through all the videos, I was like, wow, I use that a lot. I'm like,
I
wow,
kept seeing
how
it. I'm like, oh, she loves mountain
yes,
pine.
because it's like mossy and adds to drama. Yeah, without saying so much, yes, I did. So I have it all in front of me because I use it all the time because of that palette. And so, like what I said, Bridget and I were talking about all the things that you're going to learn from this class is just beyond lettering because there's so many projects. After we've tackled all the basics of brush lettering, we're going to put all that, everything that we've learned into using what we've learned to create, crafty projects. So this is really just beyond your lettering because there's going to be a lot of crafty projects that we're going to create. Like what Bridget said, you're going to learn how to use your dual tip pens than just with lettering. We're going to be using it for coloring, for creating backgrounds, for, making a mess, a happy mess. There's many different things that we're going to learn in this class.
And it's like it just starts at brush lettering. It's like we start at brush
It's just
lettering
yes.
and it's like the name implies, the crafting, we take it into crafting. Where can we put this in crafting? How does this work together in unison? And
Yes.
so many ideas. Christine has a question. Any advice for lefties? I'm a lefty. You're not a lefty though, Lhey, right? You're a righty.
No, but remember we kind of talked about that in the class. So basically an advice would be everything that I've taught in that would you'd still be doing the way you hold your hand position, the way you kind of like, I think a lot of one of my mistakes when I was, first beginning is posture. When I've learned from brush lettering is that I've really kind of like maintain a good posture when I'm lettering, and the comfort. It's very important that you're comfortable because art doesn't have to hurt. The moment you're, it's hurting, it's not good for you. So a lot of it is like everything that I'm teaching, you're just going to do the opposite. And I've tried learning how to hand letter, and I think you're going to see that in one of the videos where I'm going to like giving you an idea because I always kind of like I know the struggle when it comes to the lefties because I hear this a lot with all of my students. So I think really with lefties, there's no specific advice that's going to be different from all the righties as well. Hand position is very important. The way you angle your brush pen is very important also. But because you're a lefty, then you'll just be doing the opposite of what I'm doing. But the same techniques applies is that, arm, hand position, brush pen, angle, and all that. So still the same basic strokes that we're doing, thin and thick. So still really, so it's the same advice of giving the righties to the lefties, but just the opposite.
And the good news is again, during the class, you have access. So if something is tripping you up, you can say, Lhey, this is not working for me. I'm a lefty and you're doing it the right-handed way. Any tips on this particular thing?
And that's
And
what
so,
I'm going to do that because, sometimes it's like, hey, like how we did write this letter, let's just say letter P in this one. Can you give us more kind of like, an option for the letter P for the lefties? It's much easier. I will go through that with you. I'm kind of like, let me grab my brush pen and, take care of this one so we can figure this one out. So I think that's where the Facebook group really would come in handy is like what you said, it's a community and also a support system. It's like, hey, I'm struggling with this one. How are you guys doing with this? So it's nice to kind of like not go through it alone, but go through
yes.
it with your people, with a community that supports you. And so I think it's really going to be a big fun bonus.
And there may be other lefties in there that are like, you know what, Christine, this is what I did and this worked great for
Yes.
me. Try this. This might work really well for you too. Because as we know, with anything, crafting supplies, techniques, anything, you've got to do what works for you in your space. You've got to make this
Yes.
yours. And Lhey, you do this in this class. You make it so individual and so just it feels like you are in the room when you're watching the videos. It feels like you're in the room with Lhey,
Thank
doing this,
you.
going through the processes, and she tells you like, don't do this, like the warnings of her years of experience. So this is such a unique class. In
And always
It's
to
very
remind
mindful.
everyone, I'm there to remind everybody that this may be working with me, this may be how I've been doing it for years, but I want you to be open to trying, to trying a different style that may be something that looks better for you, because art is subjective like that. People that loves minimal, they don't like the clutter, but the people who loves clutter doesn't think that the minimal looks great. So it's always it's subjective. So the class is a reminder for you to try, be open for that change. Hey, let's try this one. How about this one? And I want you to kind of like discover your own unique style as well when it comes to brush lettering. So, that's something that we talk about in the class too.
And I think it all comes down to this class is the patience and practicing. So it's being patient with yourself. If this is a new skill, it's being patient to learn it and give it a chance in your space, in your heart.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fall in love with it. And if you're advanced, then it's a chance to practice and give yourself patience in practicing or in the applications of it, because there are so many beautiful applications in this class. So that's the wonderful thing. But I think that's what this class ultimately, like, the mid ground is patience and practice. You said it right out of the gate. That was
Freedom,
your
play,
advice.
and fun. Yes.
Yeah. And this class is just going to be fun. It's just fun. I
It's
mean,
fun. I
look at
promise you guys.
ladybugs. How
It's
can it
fun.
not be fun with ladybugs? I mean, come on. And you guys can see actually on your screen, if you see the little ladybugs and flowers, those are from the stamp set. Our graphic design team always
I
does.
know, it's so pretty. I noticed that earlier. I'm like, oh my god, that's so pretty.
They do such a
So
good job.
pretty.
We have an amazing graphic design team,
Oh,
which Marianne
such
is
an
part of, and
amazing team.
they
Amazing
do
team.
beautiful, beautiful banners for our restream and everything. So, Patricia said, think of it like a mirror. This is how I taught cake decorating. So that's a good for the lefties. That's a good idea. Kind of mirror
Oh
the
my god,
technique
yes.
a little bit.
Patricia,
And
thank you for that. Yeah, that's really good.
it's fun to have all these teachers talk creative things. So it's fun to bring it all together, and all the techniques are the same and everything. So that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Do you guys have, I'll give another minute in case you have any other questions about the class, but head on over because we have it up listed on the Alt News site. I will post it again. Make sure you check out to see which set works for you. There's also the early bird codes right now. So you want to check those out because as time goes on, it's going to go to a regular price.
Yes, take
So
advantage of that one.
we got to
Yeah.
save the money. We got to save the
Yeah.
money. We love to. Altenew always offers a deal. I love that. There's
Always.
always a
I
deal.
know. I look forward to my newsletter every day. What is happening right now? I
And
love it.
the sales are crazy. They're
I
so
do. I'm like,
good. They're so good. So yeah, I look forward to those too. But Altenew, we love to give a deal, and we would love to have you be part of this class and come.
I would
I
love to have you be part of this class, guys. It's really going to be an adventure of peaceful, relaxing, fun, freedom, and a lot of playtime. A lot of playtime.
What was your favorite thing about making this class?
The goal of keeping a goal in my head to make it as really as safe, because I know how overwhelming learning a new skill can become.
Yeah.
So, and I went through that. And so the goal in my head is to kind of make it as fun as possible and make it as safe for everyone to feel like it's okay to go through things and not work out, because I did not edit those things. Some of those things you're going to see where kind of like, oh, that did not work out. How can we pivot? And so my goal in creating this was to just make it really fun for everybody. And so my hopes now is for everyone to kind of like take this class and join this adventure and journey with me, because I want to be there in your journey, because I know how important it is to kind of like have someone to hold your hand through it all, because sometimes it can really get overwhelming. But at the end of the day, it's all about the process, and some people you shared it with. So
And we also we've said it so many times, but we'll reiterate it just one more time. This is not just brush lettering. This is
nope.
introducing brush lettering into your crafting. So lots of techniques, lots of projects, home decor, maybe some cards,
So
maybe
exciting.
journals, maybe something like that.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. So if you're looking for something, this is very like meditative, peaceful. So if you're looking for a class that you can just disconnect, this is an amazing class to come connect to brush lettering, disconnect from everything else, really give yourself some time and space to focus on you. Our CEO, Nabil, and I always quote this wrong, but I'm summarizing. He said in one of the podcasts that card makers are one of the few groups that get up every day with the intention of doing something for somebody else. So
That's so special.
this class really gives you a chance to do something for yourself and focus on you and turn your creative, crafty skills for you. Take care of yourself. And so you're better for other, to help others.
Yes.
It's that airplane,
Fill
put the
your
mask
cup,
on yourself
right?
first.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So this
Absolutely.
is really, really that class that's about you. So, and you will have beautiful gifts to give at the end of it, but it's about you and your process and your journey. So it's very
Yes.
exciting. And thank you, Lhey, for creating such a beautiful class, beautiful
Thank you.
stamps and
It's
stencils.
been a pleasure.
It's amazing. So I hope you guys check out the kit. I hope you guys join us in November, starting November 10th. We can't wait to see you there. So thank you so much, Lhey, for
Thank you,
making time to
everybody.
join
Thank you,
us.
Bridget. Thank you so much, everyone.
And yes, thank you to all of our fabulous, fabulous folks that showed up and asked questions and said hello today. We're so excited to see you. And as always, from all of us at Alt New, thank you so much for allowing us to help you craft your life. We'll see you all soon. Bye, guys.